Hey guys, it's Croetic. I am sitting here looking at this brand new MacBook Pro that one of the Chordal supporters sent to me, and I am pretty damn stoked that someone liked the project enough to do that. And since I didn't have a Mac, I wasn't able to do instructional type things on a Mac, and now I can. So the first thing I decided to do, of course, with this Mac is do an instructional video on how to install Chordal, both the core and the UI on a Mac. So yeah, this Mac has not done anything yet. The only thing I've installed is OBS Studio and Zoom. So this is a completely fresh installation of the Mac OS, and I will start now walking you through how to install Chordal on a Mac. So the first thing that we're going to need are some of the foundational things before you install Chordal, like Java. Since the Chordal core is written in Java, you need Java installed on your computer in order to run it. The recommended version of Java is OpenJDK, which is an open source version, not the one from Oracle, but an actual open source version of Java. And that is what we recommend to use when using Chordal. So first thing we're going to do on this Mac to get OpenJDK installed, the easiest way that I have found to do this is to use what's called Homebrew. And Homebrew is a package manager for the Mac OS. And so if you're familiar with Linux, you're more than familiar with what a package manager is. A package manager helps you maintain software, keep it up to date, do installations, things like that. So what we're going to do first is go to brew.sh, and this will take us here to the Homebrew page. And right on the very first page, you'll see install Homebrew and a link here. You can click this to copy that, and this is going to need to be input into the Mac terminal. Now, if you're not familiar with the terminal, which is something that is probably the most powerful app on any computer, it's what hackers and programmers use. They do not use a UI like we're using now. They use terminal for everything. So if you're not familiar with terminal, you're going to get a little familiar with it with this video. So what we're going to do is click the spotlight search on the Mac and type in terminal, and you can push enter or return, and it will open the terminal. And the terminal looks like this, and it will have your login and the name of the computer that you're on, and it'll bring you to a prompt with this right here. So first thing we're going to do is take that copied install script line from brew.sh and paste it into the terminal and push return. It's going to ask you for your password. And now this is the password for your Mac OS. And when you type in the terminal, when it asks for a password, it will not show anything that you're typing. So no dots, no anything. So you're just going to type in that password and push return, and then push return again, and it will start the installation process for Brew, which once again is a package manager for the Mac OS. We will let this installation just go through, and it'll take a few minutes to complete. And in the meantime, we can go to qortal.org and to the downloads and start the download for both the Mac core and the Mac UI. Go back to the terminal and see what it's doing. Right now it says it's installing command line tools for Xcode. This is all just part of the installation script that is run when you paste it in that installation script line from brew.sh. You can see that both of the downloads have already finished here. So we can open the downloads folder in the Finder, and we will see both of the downloads that we just downloaded here, the UI and Chordal here. What I like to do is actually move this folder, but we'll do that once the terminal is finished with this installation, and we can use that because I want people to have a little familiarity with the terminal, because at the given moment, starting and stopping the Chordal core on Mac requires running a script in the terminal. So having a little bit of knowledge of the terminal is going to come in helpful. So you can see the install is almost done. And depending on your internet connection, of course, this could take more or less time than mine. I have a pretty fast connection, so it goes relatively quickly. And once again, we're installing brew.sh, which is Homebrew, the package manager for the Mac OS. And using that package manager, we are installing OpenJDK, which is the open source version of Java, so that we can actually run the Chordal core that is written in Java. I think this is the last step in the script for the install. I might edit this video down a little bit for a little lag time in between the installer script starting and stopping. We'll see how it goes once it's fully done. Okay. The installation script just finished, and you can tell by this line here that says installation successful that you should now have Brew, which is the package manager, installed on your machine. And you can test that by doing the install command for OpenJDK, which is brew install 2 hyphens, which in coder speak would be 2 tacks, and CASK, then adopt OpenJDK, and that should do it. Push enter or return on the Mac, and it will install OpenJDK. And I think the version that it installs is OpenJDK 15, which is fine. It just needs to be OpenJDK 11 or higher to actually run the current version of Chordal. So once this is done, you will have all the required software for the Chordal core to run. And you will have already downloaded the Chordal core. And we will move it to your home folder and run it from there, so it's easier and kind of standardized for everyone. I want everyone to be able to run the same commands that I give them and have them all work. So I like to have Chordal installed in the same location on every machine. So people watching this video, if they install it the way that I do, then I should be able to help them relatively easily with giving commands and so forth if they run into any issues or have any specific questions. So it looks like my OpenJDK installation is almost done. And you can always tell if something is finished in the terminal if it brings you back to the prompt, like it does when you first open the terminal. So if it's not at the prompt, it usually means that something is going on and you should wait. So right now you see it came up and asked me for a password again. And again, when you type the password in the terminal, nothing will show up. Just type the password and push return. If you typed it incorrectly, it'll let you know. And once it completes, it will again say adopt OpenJDK was successfully installed. And you can now test that your machine has Java installed by doing the Java 2 hyphens again, or tac version, and pushing return. And it will tell you OpenJDK version 15, like I said, 1502 in this regard. And everything else looks good there. So you do have Java installed in this machine now. So now that we've got that, we can actually run Chordal. But first, like I said, let's move that download that we did to the correct directory. And what I find to be a little odd is when I downloaded that, it was supposed to be a zip, but when I open it in Finder, it looks like a folder. So that is a little confusing to me. And I'm also a new Mac user. So let's fix this together, or figure this out together, and what the Mac actually did when I downloaded that zip. It was supposed to be a zip. I get it, and it looks like it's already an extracted zip. So that's interesting, right? So let's see what actually happened here, and we can figure that out with the terminal as well. So we are going to go first cd, which is change directory, cd space downloads, and you can type part of the word you're looking for and push tab, and it will fill in if that folder exists automatically for you. So cd downloads and return. Then ls will show us the contents of that folder. And right now, as you can see, the terminal now needs access to downloads folder. Click OK on that, and it should now give you the list. And I see what looks to be 2 DMG files. One of those was the OBS that I told you that I had already installed on here, and then the Chordal UI DMG, which we'll get to that in a few minutes. And then what seems to be a folder called Chordal, which should have been a zip. So we'll see what happens if I try to move that folder to the correct location. So first, let's cd ... which means change directory back to the folder you're already in. And let's move that folder to this folder. So it'll be mv downloads / Chordal. And then to move it to this folder, it's just a period, a dot, and then push return. And so now we should technically have the Chordal folder in this folder here, which now it is. So now we can change directory to the Chordal folder, cd Chordal, return ls again to see what's in it. And we see that there's the extracted stuff from the zip. So it seems to me that Mac took it upon itself to extract the zip for me. And I'm not really sure why it did that. But once again, I am a new Mac user as well. So we will figure this out together. So it looks like that it did that. So that's fine. In theory, that's not a problem. So for now, we will just go with it and say, yes, the Mac automatically extracted it. Don't know why. Fine, whatever. So now we will run this command, chmod space +x and start.sh. And now what this is doing is running a program called chmod, which will add an executable flag to the start and stop scripts that are here in the Chordal folder, which is that which those are used to start and stop Chordal. Like I said before, a little bit of use of the terminal is required to start and stop Chordal at this point on a Mac. So we do this command here, chmod +x star.sh, and this will make those scripts executable. So now what we can do to test to see if Chordal will run, because we do have everything now installed, we can do /start.sh and push return. And now it looks like it is definitely starting up. So we can see the Chordal core is now starting up. You'll see the little splash screen come up for a second. And then up here on the top on your taskbar, you'll see the blue Chordal icon. And if you hover over it, will tell you what the status is, what the height is, which is the current block your node is on, and what is going on. So you can mouse over that to get a little bit more information. And now the Chordal core is always going to be running on your system. The Chordal core keeps track of the blockchain, synchronizes everything, has the main API, and it's what the UI communicates with to actually execute transactions on behalf of your account. So you're going to want to keep the Chordal core running all the time, and the UI you'll open and close when you need it. So for now, we will go ahead and just let the Chordal core start connecting and synchronizing, and now it's already starting to synchronize. We'll let that go for now. I'll walk you through the bootstrap process later, but if you want to synchronize from scratch, or you don't care about trying to figure out the bootstrap, you can just stop at this step for the installation of the Chordal core, and you're good to go. So right now we have a full install of the Chordal core running on Mac, and I don't know how long it took us, but it wasn't that long. So it's a pretty simple process to get the Chordal core running. You just have to know a few commands in the terminal, as we saw. And now we can go ahead and install the UI. Now the UI is the user interface that users save their account information in and utilize in order to make use of QChat and the other functionality, wallets and trade portal that's inside of the Chordal UI. So the Chordal UI is going to be the main interface for everyone that they're going to be familiar with. Most people are not going to be using the API for a lot of things. So we will now install the UI. So you have a understanding on how to do that. We can go to the Finder and go to the Downloads folder, and we'll see the Chordal UI DMG file. And now what this is going to do is it will mount a virtual drive to your Mac, and it will have an image of the Chordal UI on it. And it should, let's double click on it and we'll find out, pop up, and it'll show you the Chordal UI. Yeah, right here. Chordal UI icon and the applications folder, and it shows an arrow. So it implies what you're supposed to do, but doesn't really tell you. So what you do is you take this and you literally drag it over here into the applications folder, and it will install it into your applications folder. So now that you've done that, you can actually click the little eject button on the Chordal UI location here and eject the UI installer, and you can actually delete the UI installer now, since you don't need that anymore. And I actually don't need this other one anymore either. So I can delete both of these. And in the case of a Mac, you click it or right click it and move to trash. So we don't need those files anymore. Now in the applications here, you have the Chordal UI, right? So you'll double click on the Chordal UI to run it, and Mac will usually complain about the developer not being verified. Now, all this means is that the signature on the file is not one that the Mac OS recognizes at this point. So they give you two options: move to trash and cancel. Now, these are not very good options if you actually want to run the software. So first, you have to click cancel. Then you have to go to the Mac icon at the top left and bring down that menu and go to the system preferences. In the system preferences, there's a security and privacy. And on there at the top, the general tab, and open anyway comes up down here at the bottom saying Chordal UI was blocked because it's from an unknown or unidentified developer. Click open anyway, and then it will pop this up again and say once again, open. You only have to do this the first time that you run this. So once you've done that and told it about 3 different ways that it's fine to open the software, it now will open it the first time every time. So now we've got the Chordal UI open. We can close this out. We can close this out, and we can show you more in the Chordal UI. Now, until your chain is fully synchronized, you will not be able to actually execute any transactions inside of the Chordal UI. So you can create your account without a synced chain, but you cannot do anything with that account until you have a fully synchronized chain. And if we mouse over the Chordal core icon here at the top again, it'll tell you the percentage. Right now I'm still 0% synced and at a height of 928. So it will take probably a few days if you want to synchronize from scratch. Now, what we're going to do to get this going a little bit more quickly is to set up the bootstrap. And what a bootstrap is in terms of blockchain stuff is an actual copy of the synchronized blockchain, or one that's more close to being synchronized, so that you can download that, which is a lot quicker than individually downloading each block and verifying as you go. And you can extract that, replace your local copy of the DB with the downloaded one, and then you'll be at a higher block to start with. So we're going to do that now so that we don't have to wait forever for this to synchronize. But I think as far as the installation video, I'll probably cut this off here and make that for the installation video. And then I'll do another video explaining how to do the bootstrap on Mac and explaining how to create your account. So we'll stop this one here and do that. Thanks for watching, and let's see you all in Chordal. I want to see everybody in Q chat. Later.